Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you've ever felt that dreaded ticking clock during a test and, completely panicked because your hand was physically cramping from writing way too much, yeah, you are in the exact right place today. We have literally all been there. You look up, realize you only have 15 minutes left, and you still have half the test to go. Mostly because you spent entirely too long over-explaining your first few answers. Today, we're going to look at a highly tactical secret that flips this dynamic completely. We're talking about a real game changer to save a massive amount of time, reduce your testing anxiety, and actually achieve better grades, simply by changing the fundamental structure of your answers. Let's get right into it.
Okay, let's dive into this. There's a really common trap so many of us fall into the second an exam begins. You look down at a question, you recognize a keyword, you know the material, and your immediate instinct is to just start writing. And writing, and writing. You want to prove to the teacher that you know absolutely everything about the topic. Actually, scratch that, it's more like a panicked knowledge dump. But the hard truth is this: if you write long answers in exams, you lose time. It is a direct, unforgiving trade-off. Every extra unnecessary word you put on that paper is actively stealing seconds away from the rest of your test. You're burning precious energy and burning down the clock for extra details that, honestly, they probably aren't even earning you any additional points.
Think about the sheer physical and mental energy required to produce 10 rambling lines of text when you're under severe pressure. It's completely exhausting. You end up looping your thoughts, repeating yourself, and kind of just muddying your actual point. The absolute smartest move you can make is to aggressively compress your knowledge. Instead of writing 10 lines, write 3 strong lines. Think of the difference in confidence that requires. When you only have 3 lines to make your point, you literally can't afford to waffle. It instantly shifts you from being an anxious, rambling student desperately hoping something in that massive paragraph gets a point to a confident, concise student who knows exactly what they are talking about.
So what's really interesting about this is how it fundamentally shifts your entire test-taking strategy. We need to completely let go of the idea that writing more words makes you look smarter, because it doesn't. Precision is what makes you look smart. Smart students use a simple rule. It's called the 3-line answer method. This approach totally removes the guesswork from taking a test. You no longer have to sit there chewing on your pencil, wondering if you've written quite enough to satisfy the grader, because this method gives you a precise mathematical blueprint to follow for every single short answer question you encounter.
Let's break down exactly how foolproof this system is in practice. It brilliantly illustrates a highly efficient and flawless testing logic. It's just 3 steps, every single time. Line 1, write the definition or main point. Just hit the core concept right out of the gate, no introductory fluff. Line 2, write the explanation. This is where you briefly expand on that first point to show you understand the why or the how. And finally, line 3, write 1 example. Just 1. Prove you know how to apply the concept in the real world. Let's say the question asks, what is inflation? Line 1, inflation is the rate at which the general level of prices for goods and services is rising. Line 2, this means that purchasing power is falling as your currency buys less than it did before. Line 3, for instance, if a loaf of bread cost $1 last year and costs $1.20 this year, that is inflation. 1, 2, 3, boom.
So, the absolutely crucial point here is you stop writing after line 3. That's it. This makes your answer clear. By trusting this process and having the discipline to strip away all the extra fluff, you aren't hiding your actual knowledge inside a giant block of text anymore. You are pulling the exact information the grader is looking for and putting it completely front and center. You're demonstrating absolute mastery of the material simply because you are confident enough to say it succinctly and then put your pen down.
Which brings us to an ultimate insider secret about how tests actually work. Think about the person grading your exam for a second. Picture them at, 11 o'clock at night on a Sunday, sitting at a kitchen table surrounded by massive stacks of paper. They are reading dozens, maybe hundreds of essays and short answers. They are exhausted. They absolutely do not want to hunt for your main point buried somewhere in a massive, chaotic paragraph. When you use brevity and structure, you are giving that exhausted grader a massive gift. Teachers love clear answers. If you make their life easier by clearly separating your definition, explanation, and example, they are naturally inclined to reward that clarity.
Let's move to how this builds, because we need to think about the compounding math for a second. If you cut a rambling 10-line answer down to 3 precise lines, you might be saving 30 to 60 seconds per question. On a 20-question test, that is a massive amount of banked time. Because your answers are now perfectly concise, you are building an invaluable safety net, and you save time for other questions. By not writing those extra 7 lines on every single response, you suddenly have a buffer. You can actually pause, take a deep breath, and easily tackle the hardest questions on the exam, like the final long-form essay, without the blinding panic of a ticking clock. So from now on, every single answer you write should be measured against 3 core pillars: short, clean, and smart. Make it a mantra. It's a rhythm you want to subconsciously reinforce in your mind while you sit in that exam hall. Short, clean, smart. If it's not short, it's taking up entirely too much time. If it's not clean, well, the teacher can't grade it easily because your points are all jumbled together. And if it's not smart, you aren't using the right structure to actually showcase your knowledge. Short, clean, and smart.
And here is the ultimate payoff for adopting this discipline. If you replace 10 cluttered lines with 3 strong, purposeful ones, you are going to see a profound difference in your testing experience. Try this method in your next exam, and your marks will improve. It sounds like a bold claim, right? But it's backed by the incredibly simple reality that clear, highly structured answers are just fundamentally easier to award points to. Plus, keeping your composure because you aren't running out of time ensures you perform better across the entire test. So I will leave you with this final, provocative thought. You now know the secret to saving time, reducing your own stress, and making the grader's life infinitely easier. Are you going to finally step out of the exhausting habit of writing endless, panicky paragraphs? Will you try the 3-line method in your next exam? The blueprint for taking control of your tests is completely within your grasp. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. And hey, best of luck putting this strategy to work.